Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing well. I wanted to show you something that I think is crazy cool, and I just ran into it by accident, and I have never seen anyone talk about this. Maybe others have, but anyway, quick run through. I've got my Digitac, and it's sending on track 14. I'm sending through USB MIDI, so I'm going through my computer here, if you can see it. And you can't see Bitwig, but basically this is sending MIDI. And you see on track 9 here, I'm getting my Syntact here is getting MIDI. So that's all I have set up. So I haven't tested this in all configurations, so when I show you, your mileage may vary. I'll just say that. But here's what happened. I was... I did like a quick, let me just do what I did before. Apologizes, I got to create this stuff again, but, all right, so let me just create a quick ARP, something like, just something. All right, just something like that. All right, so I have a keyboard to my right. Apologies, you can't see it. All right, so here's what happened. I was playing this, or something like this, and then this sequencer was just sitting here, right? So this is not running, right? I just hit play on here. And then what happened was I held down a trig, and I was on the trig page. And I don't know if you can see the video very well, but actually the velocity and the note were changing. And I was like, oh, wow. So that thing's getting a stream of notes coming in, which makes perfect sense. But I thought, oh, that's weird that the values are changing. While I held this down, I went to the filter page and I turned it down. Okay, no big deal. Then I released it and I was like, wait a minute. And it went back. And I was like, are you telling me that I could make this into a lock trig? Let me slide it over here. I put it here, right? So I hold this. And that like changed the filter, and I thought, well, wait a minute. So I could make another one. So I copied this guy, I put him here. Whoops, let me do that again. Hold on a second. Getting myself confused. Let me stop this for a second. So copy this guy, I put him here, and then let's change the filter again. So let's like move it way up. So then we got this. Okay. Okay. And then I started to notice that there's an order to these. So if you hold this one, that one will take effect, right? But if I hold the next one on number 4, if I held that, I wasn't hearing anything. I thought, oh, that's weird. And then I released number 3, and then it kicked in. So then I was like, wait a minute. So then I thought, okay, why don't I put a lock trig on 1 and 16? I'll take 1, turn the amp all the way down, and do the same on 16. This was just to test it. So that means if I hold 1, if something's playing, so if I'm holding 3, remember the lower numbers take over. So now if I hit 1, I get an audio mute. So I can do stuff like that, right? So I was like, oh, that's cool. And then here I could do the opposite. So I could hold this, and then when I release this, it would go to silence. So I could actually queue up another one. Actually, sorry, I did that backwards. If I'm going to queue one up, I would basically hold it and then do silence. And then when I let off it, now you're not hearing anything, so I could go to another one, and then I could let the other one off. Like that. Anyway, it was like a trick thing, so I was like messing around. So now I was like, wait a minute. So I can actually make like different sounds. So let's just make another lock trig here. Mess with the filter a little bit. Let's make something plucky, like this. Let me hit play so I can hear it. And let's change the wave shape. Give it some distortion maybe. Let's go up an octave. Something like that. And then let's add some delay. Right? Maybe a little reverb. And let this off to go back. And I could even change this one to... All right, so let me, let's see, let's add a snare in here. And let's get some hats in here as usual. Just gonna put these on every second time. Just something like that. And then the idea is I could cut this, bring it back in with, that one didn't sound a lot different, but you get the idea. Bring the next one in. I mean, I was just like, wait a minute, because I was a little disappointed that when I was trying to use both the sequencers together, that's how I started messing with this, is I was playing both of them at the same time, which works. So let me actually kick them off at the same time just to show you that. But I was a little bit disappointed that when you're sending MIDI to it, that it doesn't really use the trigs. Like you can see this playing, but there's nothing, like the filter isn't changing, right? And I was like, oh, okay, so I can't quite do that, or I override notes or whatever. But this was better. Like I was like, wait a minute, if I can do this, I could just make per track, I can make any number of parameter locks that I want, you know, and again, I mean, you have 4 pages, but I think you could just use 1 page and then just, you know, have different combinations. Let me just make this 1 page. So I thought this was crazy because, I mean, if I want to have a button basically to add delay, I just add a lock, hold that, go to here, and then turn on delay. Now I got delay. I can let that off, and the delay goes back to whatever it was. It's a parameter lock, right? So it's not like, but the thing was, is it was, I gotta hit stop here, sorry. So I have been trying to describe this feature to Elektron in a couple of different posts and things like that, because to me, this is really close. It's like a performance mode where what you can do is every trig, you just set it up. You just put whatever parameter locks you want. And then when it's playing back, instead of having to go to like those 4 places, you just hold it and then it just sets it. So it's just like a one-time thing. And then while you're holding it. Now you could imagine this being enhanced where you could, you know, not only would you just be able to, you wouldn't have to hold it. Maybe you just tap it and it just holds all those locks and then the MIDI goes through. But anyway, I just started exploring this. Maybe, you know, if you guys have 2 Elektron devices, first off, confirm that this works, because maybe it's just my setup. But if this works, it's pretty crazy for performance, because you get per track. I won't call them scenes because I'll be careful with that term, but they are kind of like, you know, a button that can change any number of parameter locks, and then you can just go to them. So I hope you think this is cool, because for me, I thought it was pretty amazing. So let me know. Thanks a lot. Bye.